I don't know if I should be offended, but I'm just going to choose to be offended because, well, that's the trendy thing to do. One of the weird things about, I don't know, kind of publicly doing anything online is, yes, I knew getting into it, you're going to have people that don't like you, you're going to have hate comments, whatever it's called, you're going to have people that disagree, and maybe you'll get into some controversy or whatever. What I never thought about is how much random stuff is literally just made up. And the thing is, you can't address it in a video, because then you bring to light this thing that 90% of your audience never even heard of. So it's very weird. And so I'm more careful when I'm seeing stuff about other people. I give a ton of benefit of the doubt and play a lot of devil's advocate, because it seems like people literally just make the most random stuff up.
You know, someone commented, someone who's only ever bought legit comments on something or likes a post. I've been called out for liking a post. You can like a post on Instagram by breathing on your phone. How many times, and you know we've all done it, how many times you be peeping at someone's profile that you don't want them to know that you're there, or you don't want them to know you went back that far, and you accidentally hit that like. You never hit an unlike so fast. It's real easy to do. But then you're going to put someone's name on blast. This person supports fakes because of a like on a photo. This is going to be very off the cuff. Hello, everyone. I just have some stuff to say. I just watched a video, and well, I shouldn't say that. I watched half the video before I felt like it was too much, and I had to get it out. First of all, I've taken kind of like a year break, pretty much, and I can't believe the conversation's still the same. I get back, I'm walking the room a year later, still the same. Still the same conversation, still the same fighting, still the same, you need to do this, no, I'm going to do that, wagging your fingers at people, and people, you know, wagging their fingers back. Like, people are going to do what they're going to do. The bottom line of all of this, that too long didn't read, is people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. You can't force someone, bully someone. Maybe you can, some people, but I think for the most part, it's evident that regarding fakes versus legitimate, you know, replica versus the genuine kits, people have taken their side. And all people are doing on each side is just digging their heels in. So the constant conversation, there is not a deader horse. It's a zombie horse that we killed again. There's not a deader horse than this. I'm so fucking tired of hearing about it, to be honest with you. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? This is another, if you don't watch any other part of this video, here's the part you need to watch, okay? It is not my business nor my responsibility to police the rest of the fucking world. It's not. I don't want to do it. Doesn't sound fun to me. That's not how I enjoy myself here. Maybe some people get off on that. I don't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in other people's business. What are they doing? What are they buying? Looking in the background of their videos. I wonder if they have a COA for that. No. I don't want a part of that. Not one bit. And it's not my responsibility to police these companies for the sculptors. Those are their business deals. Whatever they are, I don't want to get involved in it. I don't want to know. Someone recently, in the video that I was watching, compared it to if you have a best friend that you love more than anything in the world, and you say that you love them and you care about them, and then you go shag their husband. That's the same thing as saying you love the hobby and then buying a fake. It's not, though. The sculptors are not my besties, and I'm going to tell you why. I watched a very prominent sculptor, and I'm not going to say her name, but I think everybody knows who she is. She's very, very, very popular. Her sculpts are very popular and very much replicated. I watched that person call someone out by name, bully them, which is completely unprofessional. Like down here in YouTube land, we just, it's real down here. right? We've been fighting for years. You expect that from a YouTuber. I don't expect that from a professional sculptor. End of story. That disgusted me. Disgusted me. That type of stuff. This is not about other YouTubers telling me what to do and, oh, I'm going to go do something just cuz. That was another thing that was mentioned in this video. I'm not going to have someone tell me what to do, then I'll go out and do it just to spite them. I don't give a fuck about what another YouTuber says. I don't hold them to the same standard as a sculptor. But that disgusted me. And I'm still disgusted. Clearly, how many times have I said the F word? I'm still disgusted by that behavior. You want to be treated like a professional? Act like a professional. Go fight for your art in the proper way. That to me is unreal. I was not raised like that. If this was my business, my livelihood, and it's never been, by the way, I have never given one fuck about money from YouTube, money from dolls, being a professional artist, having a prototype. I don't care about any of it. I'm here because I'm having fun. And when I don't have fun, things get too crazy, I dip out. I don't care about any of that. Not $1 of anything I've ever made on YouTube or will ever make from dolls or any of this hobby supports my life in any way, so I have no fucks in that department. But if this was my livelihood, I damn sure wouldn't be acting like a fool. I wouldn't be acting a fool. You would not catch me acting like that. It is not my responsibility to fight legal battles for sculptors, or to fight other YouTubers for sculptors, or to tell other people what to do, or to spend my time, my very unpaid time that I could be doing something I enjoy, doing that. Again, if that's your bag, cool, it's not mine. I don't want to do that. When we're talking about kits, let's talk about sold out kits, okay? And I understand that supporting the counterfeit market in any way, no matter which kit you're buying, from which sculptor, from which website, whatever, is supporting the counterfeit market overall. But when you're a sculptor and you refuse to make a doll that you know everybody wants, such as a very popular version of a doll that might have open eyes, let's just say, okay? When you decide to do that, you're just punishing yourself and you're just punishing the community. You're not stopping the fakes. In fact, I would argue from a business perspective, just knowing human nature and how people are, that you're just making people want it more. Just making them want to buy the fakes more. When you limit your kits to 100, 200, these tiny little numbers, that's just making people want them more. You're cutting off your own foot there. And again, I don't know what these business deals are because I'm not privy to them. Maybe there's a reason that kits are very limited. But from a collector's perspective, when a kit itself is $800, $900, $1,000 just to buy the kit, forget it, okay? Forget it. And that's on the secondhand market. But when you limit it that much that it's selling out within minutes to hours, and now you've got them on eBay because people are scalping them like they do in every doll community. They do it in the other doll communities I'm part of too. All I can say is, what do you expect? You need to be smart with your business deals. You're going to limit a kit that much. You've made your money. Once you've sold your 250, 450, whatever, you've made your money. You're not going to make any more money off that kit. It's done. So if all that's left for people to buy are the fakes, how is that hurting you with that kit in particular? And again, I know the argument of the overall support of the machine that makes the counterfeits is just making more. I get it. But also you have to understand that you're limiting your own capacity to continue to make money. That just is what it is. People want to talk about real collectors. A real collector won't have a fake. That's also complete and total bullshit. I've been collecting things since I was like 5. One of the biggest things to collect, especially with music or other stuff, high-end stuff, is the fake stuff. That stuff is the bootlegs, the rare stuff, the one-offs that someone made. That's the shit. That's the stuff you want. In some of these other doll communities, Monster High, for example, which I know it's a toy, but people collect it. They want those fakes because they're hilarious. They're ridiculous. They want them. A real collector wants it all. They want everything, every corner of that hobby. They want a piece of it. So they can say, oh yeah, I have that. I have that. I've got the real version. I've got the fake version. I've got, this country's version, that country's version. I've got every version. I got everything. That's what a collector wants. People want to talk about our hobby's going to disappear. It's a moral dilemma. Yeah. Well, every single thing in the world has fakes. And I've said this before, and I bring it up every time, but there are entire fake Apple stores in China. The whole store, the signage, the promo posters, the products, the employee, all of it. Fake, 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 fake. As far as I know, last time I checked, Apple's still releasing products. If this hobby is truly in so much danger, how come kits be selling out in minutes? You get the email, you go to buy it, it's gone. That's happened to me. How come that's happening? If this is such a dangerous, horrible thing that it's ripping apart the fabric of the reborn, hobby. But why are they selling out then? Who's buying them? People who buy reborns are buying them, just like they always have. So this is a decision that the sculptors need to make. I don't believe there is no longer a market for real kits. I don't. If I'm wrong, I'd love to see the math on that, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe there are more people collecting these dolls than ever. I believe that people will see them on Amazon, Temu, wherever, get one and go, that doesn't look like the viral video that I saw. How come this is different? And then they're going to start buying the real ones. That's never going to go away. Just like real handbags versus fake handbags, it's not going to go away. And in some of these cases, the reality is to buy a reborn. And I have a limit, okay, for how much I'm willing to spend on a doll. But a legitimate kit, I think the most I've spent on a legitimate kit made by an artist, hand painted by an artist, as reborns are, is probably $1,200 for a vinyl doll. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Most of the people who are buying a $50 Amazon doll, a $50 Temu doll, they're not going to spend $800, $1,200 and up, and they go way up. It's reborns are costing more money than they ever have. I mean, I could buy a couple of cars, Though that's not the same bracket, boo. You understand what I'm saying? Let's be real. Those are not the same customers. You're not marketing those products to those customers. You're not. And that's not shade. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wherever someone falls income-wise, but what I am saying is those are not the same customers. Those people are probably never going to spend or be able to spend, be fortunate enough to spend, and it is a luxury. They're not going to be able to do that. So what people think they might be losing, you're not losing anything, because that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. I mean, you're showing a Maserati commercial to someone who can afford a budget level vehicle, a Hyundai. And that's not shade. I used to drive a Hyundai. I love that little car. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to buy a Maserati. That ain't my section either. It doesn't make sense to just blanket across the board say, this is killing our hobby. I think that that's a choice. And a sculptor can make a choice to continue to do what they do or go and do something else. That's a choice. Music artists have been bootlegged for years. They don't stop making music because someone's made some bootlegs. Those artists are still touring 20 plus years later. The thing about this hobby being everybody talks about, I want it to be more mainstream. Well, this is more mainstream. The counterfeits are more mainstream. This is what every single industry in the entire fucking world goes through. And now our industry is getting hit by it. And does it suck maybe? Yeah. It's not right to steal things. But the reality is, it happens to every single hobby, industry, product, company, everywhere, everything. Now it's happening to us. And instead of figuring out privately how these artists and these sculptors can protect themselves better, it's become a food fight, dumpster fire, fucking mess in the community. And how is that helping? How is it helping anybody on either side? Because you're damn sure not convincing anyone not to buy them. I have seen more people buying them than ever now. And it's not just because they're more available. It's because people are tired of being treated badly by people they were being treated badly by before. And now it's for this reason. Now it's for this very moral reason. I'm doing God's work now. No. These people were already mad at you. So the fact that you might have a point, that doesn't mean anything anymore. The people that are fighting hard for this are probably the worst advocates. Unfortunately, the worst advocates that you could have. Because they're already problematic. Encouraging sculptors to put people's name on blast and act like a teenager. I mean, even Trisha Paytas don't act like that no more. It's unprofessional and it's gross. And if we want to talk about morality, that sucks too. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of hearing about it. People are either going to buy these fake dolls and decide, hey, I want something better. I want something that looks like what I saw on TikTok or whatever. I want that one that looks real. I want to be stopped in Target and told how beautiful my baby is and ask how old they are and me be telling them it's a doll. I want that. How do I get that? And they're going to figure it out. And hopefully by the time they do, they can afford it. Because like I said, they're just going up and up and up and up and up. But that's not the point. The point is, if they want that, they're going to figure it out. If they don't, they're going to continue to buy these dolls, these fake dolls, or they're going to not be into dolls anymore. There's only a couple ways this can go. And I think if someone's willing to buy a more realistic looking doll than a Walmart doll, if they're looking at the ones that are actual prototype photos of real reborns on these websites and they're wanting that, they're still going to want that. I think it's going to bring more people to our hobby all the time. We have far more exposure as a hobby, as an art form than we ever did. And yeah, it's a little confusing because of the fakes and because they're looking at those pictures and they're getting something maybe different. But like I said, people want a realistic doll, they're going to figure it out. Or they're not. Or they're going to say, screw this. It doesn't look like it I thought it would, and I'm done. I'm not going to spend any more money on this. Like, that's what happens. When I got into these dolls, there really weren't fakes. Baby Klon came around shortly after I got into the hobby, but it was nothing like it is now. And I was broke. I was broke as a joke back then. But I was hitting them payment plans, you know. I was selling a doll to get a doll. You know, people figure it out. If they really want it, they figure it out. But this fighting has made this community a very, very nasty place to be. And I think if anything, and I've said this and I've said it and I've said it and I've said it, if anything is going to make people go the other direction and just buy a bunch of fakes, it's that. That is not the way to get people to see your side of something. Is just browbeat the hell out of them and tell them what a piece of shit they are. You suck as a person. You might as well fuck your best friend's husband. Like, come the fuck on with that. And I don't know. Like, I find that to be lacking in integrity. If I'm honest. If you don't care, then you don't care. If you do care, great. But I have to laugh at the back and forth I've seen people do on this issue. Passionately one way, passionate the other way. And if you had a change of heart, that's great. But don't come on here and tell me that I might as well fuck my best friend's husband if I have a different opinion. Just know. And I have a feeling this person turned off comments because they knew I'd have something to say about it. Just know. I don't understand how continuing to fight with each other, continuing to harass people or blast people or whatever, people that they've heard your argument 1,000,000 times. They don't feel the same as you. And it doesn't look like they're going to. And I'm sorry, I know this is a serious issue, but I have to laugh because they're not going to see it the way that you do. And you're going to have to find a way to live with that. Okay, boo? You're going to have to figure it out. I know this really, really burns some people's ass. And that's unfortunate because I think in most cases that I've seen, the fighting will just continue forever. Because I don't think we're winning hearts and minds out here with the bullying. I really don't. And if it was my art, I probably wouldn't be happy either. But I also think, I truly think I would understand that this is part of making our hobby more mainstream. It's a consequence. I joke about this, okay? It's an unfortunate consequence of doing business in the world. And again, it's every industry. It's hitting ours. But we were kind of in this little corner over here. And they're like, oh, look at these middle-aged women for the most part. And they're playing with dolls. And oh, it's so ridiculous. And then they're like, oh shit. They spend money. They spend real money on these dolls. We can make money. That's what happened. It was all cool to make fun of us for a couple of years till they realized they could make money by making the fakes. So now we're like everything else. And all I can hear is all over the years people saying they wanted our hobby to be more mainstream. They didn't want us to be judged. They wanted people to see how great these dolls are. And unfortunately, now they do. There has to be a better way to solve this than for us to just continuously go at each other on YouTube. There has to be a better way. And frankly, it's not up to me. Acting like these sculptors are my besties. Look, I love the art. I've got almost 100 reborns. Clearly I love it. Clearly I've spent some serious money on it. Some serious time. I've made a lot of dolls. I put my heart into that. But are they going to come to work and fight for me when I get screwed over? No, because they're not my bestie. When I buy a doll kit, it's a business transaction. And we've lost that whole side of things with all the butthurt. It's a business transaction when I log into whatever these websites are, legitimate websites, and buy a doll kit. There's a fine line between morality and servicing someone's butthurt. I think a business is a business and should remain impartial. And that's what I think of all these businesses that are blocking people left and right. And, someone commented, someone who's only ever bought legit, comments on something or likes a post. I've been called out for liking a post. You can like a post on Instagram by breathing on your phone. How many times, and we've all done it, how many times you be peeping at someone's profile, you don't want them to know that you're there, or you don't want them to know you went back that far, and you accidentally hit that like. You never hit an unlike so fast. It's real easy to do. But then you're going to put someone's name on blast. This person supports fakes. Because of a like on a photo? How do you even know that person knows it's a fake? I don't know not even half. I don't know probably 90% of the new kits that are coming out right now. I don't know them by name. Because I'm not involved to that level anymore. I've got so many dolls. I'm not out here looking to get new dolls all the time the way I used to be. I'm not paying attention the way I used to be. I may have no idea that something is fake or not fake. I may have no idea any of it. But you like a post of a friend? Oh, that's cute. I'll like that. Or your finger hits it as you're scrolling. Bam. Now you're in trouble. Didn't do nothing. That type of shit going to have businesses blocking the whole community. And then what are you going to do? Who's going to buy your stuff? The illogical behavior is a little much for me. It's a little much, guys. Take a step back and see the ridiculousness of it. And I'm not telling anybody what to do. I refuse to be a police officer on this or any other issue. It is none of my business what other people are doing. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I do not have the energy, the time, nor the desire Even if someone paid me to be out here paying this much attention to someone else's business, I'm all about my business. And the funny part is, it like I said, makes very little, if any, difference. In fact, it seems to be pushing people the other direction. So it's not working how you think it's working. So I guess I just don't understand. If people want to talk about the damaging effects of counterfeits on this or any other industry, or how people who are entering into these contracts can make this better for themselves, great. I'm all for that. I'm all for a constructive conversation. But none of this is constructive at this point. None of it is. It's not educating. It's bullying. Because the people that are doing this, the people that are fighting back and forth, they know the other side of things. Everybody's heard the other side. Each respective side has heard the other side over and over and over and over. It's a zombie horse from hell at this point. So it's not that we aren't understanding each other. I think we understand each other fine. I think people have made their choices. They've drawn their lines in the sand, and that's what they're going to do. But what's damaging the hobby just as much, if not more, is all of this fucking nonsense and all of this fucking fighting and the bullying and the nastiness to each other. And people can say, well, I'm on Facebook and everything golden over there. Yeah, because you probably kick everybody you don't like, or you've seen them hard a post. You kick them out of your group because you're the admin there. Like, let's be real about how things work. People have it's like shutting your blinds in your house when the rest of the neighborhood's on fire. Everything in my house is good. Okay. But you done set all those fires outside, though, right? You smell the smoke? This infighting is damaging our community just as much. And like I said, it can only go, this issue, it can only go a couple of ways when someone's buying something like that. They buy a fake, they're going to be either satisfied with it and they're good. Probably they're not going to be satisfied with it because it's probably prototype photos of an actual reborn that was shown. So then they're going to be like, well, what do I do? How much money do I need to spend to get what I really want? Get that, that baby that looks real. That doll I could take to Target and people don't even bat an eye because it looks that real. What do I need to do to get that? And they educate themselves on their own. When I first got into this community, I bought Ashton Drakes, and they looked real good in those photos because those photos are photoshopped within an inch of their fucking life. But I got it, and I was like, this ain't it. And now, I'm a reborn collector. I researched and found out, what does it take to get a realistic-looking doll? So people are either going to do that or they're not. Or they're going to do that and figure out, hey, this is way out of the budget that I'm able to spend on a doll. And they'll either not buy any more dolls at all, or they'll buy fakes and would have never been someone who would buy legit anyways. We've got to understand that, unfortunately, this is something that is pulling people into our hobby. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe in a lot of cases that will be a good thing. If sculptors decide to walk away from this art form, because, again, it's like musicians. Oh, I'm getting bootleg. Well, I'm just going to stop making music. Well, that's not really realistic, is it? Make your kits open edition. Make it so it's not $200 to buy a doll kit. Because then you've got to pay to have it reborn. So you're looking at easily, in a modest price range with an artist who doesn't charge a lot of money, you're almost $1,000 in with one doll. And that's buying the kit new from a dealer. That's not even talking about the secondhand market when the kit is so limited because for some reason, I don't understand the logic of that. If there's logic there, please explain it to me. How does limiting, as a sculptor, how does limiting the amount of kits you put out to these very small numbers helping this situation? Because it's not encouraging people not to buy them. It's making them want to buy the fakes more because they can't get their hands on a legitimate kit. Or if they do find one on the secondhand market, it's $1,000, $500, $600, $800, $1,000 just for the kit. Explain to me how that's helping, because I'm afraid I don't understand. I also don't understand how refusing to make a kit that everyone's been waiting for, a version of a kit with open eyes, I don't understand how that's helping. I think that, unfortunately, this is not something we're going to be able to stamp out. And here's the other part of the logic. Other industries would do it if they could, right? I'm sure Gucci doesn't appreciate the fake handbags. Other industries would do it if they could do it, but they haven't been able to figure out how to do it either. So I think, sadly, logic would dictate that this is something we're going to have to live with. So we have to decide how we're going to do that. And that includes everybody, including the sculptors. You're going to have to decide how you're going to continue to make art in this climate. Because it's changed now, and I don't think we're going to go back to the way it was. I think the hobby being more mainstream, more talked about, more accepted, this is a consequence of that. And I don't think we can go back. So we need to find a way forward together. Because what's going on and has been going on, it's not changing anything for the better. Oh, Lauren has just entered the chat now.
I have just entered the chat.
She brought up something that I brought up too. I don't even know. We've had this conversation lots of times privately about the fakes. But there's some kits out there that be looking like someone stole an IP. Someone stole an intellectual property. And I'm not complaining because I have several of them and they're fantastic, okay? But when your kit look like the Grinch, I mean, that's someone else's IP.
Well, also, the only one who can make Avatar dolls is BabyClon.
Yeah. And
There
yet
are people who create Avatar dolls and kits, which are adorable, phenomenal, but they don't have the right. I don't think. I don't think.
To my knowledge, James Cameron, or is that the dude? That's the dude, right?
That's the dude.
He'd be all up in the movies. To my knowledge, the only people that have permission to do that, avatars of any type, or their likeness, is BabyClon, which is ironic.
And to my knowledge, no one has the right to make the Grinch or house elves from Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
And look, this is not shade from me specifically because I love those fantasy kits. I love them. I made several Grinches out of those not Grinch kits. I made Harry Potter house elves out of those manor elves, and I remember the ears being a little different to start, so I think somebody might perhaps have gotten a little cease and desist letter from Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers is serious about
Once they get a sniff of it.
Oh, the only people worse than Warner Brothers is Disney.
Oh, jeez. Don't even mention them.
Right, I know.
They're gonna flag this video.
They're listening now. No, but like, for real though, you want to talk about stolen art, stolen ideas, that's the same thing.
It's the exact same
It's the same thing. So it's about, where do you want to draw that line? Where does that line stop for you? Because I think everybody has a different idea of that. And I've bought Grinches from other people. I've made them. I was making Grinches when I had to sculpt the Grinchy features onto the kit. Okay. Then they come out with, then there's more than one. There's 3 kits that look like Grinches. Some of them look like the Grinches that I was sculpting, which is a whole other issue. But the Grinch is not my character, so I can't even say nothing. There's so many layers to this, is what I'm getting at. And like, again, I'm not complaining. I think they're fabulous. I've got 2 of the, was it Jolly?
Yeah.
Jingle?
Yeah, both.
Got them sitting over there. I've got Mistletoe. There's another one that looks very much like a Grinch that I don't have, but I want for that reason, because I'm a huge Grinch fan. But the point is, you know what it looks like now. Come on.
Well, what about just not even kits itself, but people buy character dolls? Is that a fake?
Well, it's copyrighted,
exactly,
and it's,
but is that a fake? Because you have a couple of character dolls. Not that I'm calling you out, but I'm saying you're not.
Well, I made the very first doll I ever made was the Mad Hatter.
Exactly, like,
so.
Did your entire hobby start at counterfeiting?
I mean, I guess that technically is counterfeiting.
So what, you're just supposed to?
You're using someone else's idea. I mean,
and I'm not saying it's wrong.
The thing is, I'm also, like, I made the Mad Hatter, but I didn't sell him. I made him for me, but again, where do you draw those lines?
Well,
is it still stealing if you're just making it for yourself? There's all these layers to all of this.
Well, some people's customs are copyrighted characters.
Yeah, I've made Grinch customs.
And you have bought customs.
See, I'm just a big old counterfeiter now.
Apparently, but like, where's the line?
Lauren's calling me out.
Yes, I am.
No, but really, though, we all do it.
Calling it out because it's ridiculous.
We all do it. People be making Dr. Seuss. People be making all kinds of things.
People have all kinds of dolls. There's so many Grinches out there. They're like,
there's Pennywise. There's any number of things.
What about when you have a baby that you like, and people are like, I want that particular baby that somebody else has?
Yeah, I've said no to that in the past.
Not you,
I say no to that, but
do that.
No, and they do.
Or other people.
There's a lot to this. I think it's less complicated when you're talking about the traditional style or like human looking reborns. Yes, there's some people that'll say, oh, I want that baby that looks just like so-and-so's, and that sucks, especially if they do it repeatedly. And I know that has happened to people, to be fair. But when you're talking about the fantasy ones, it's a little more obvious, I would say. But yeah, there's layers to it, and it's like, nobody seems to have a problem with that. And I think it's because people are like, oh, well, that's Disney, or oh, that's Apple, or oh, that's, Gucci. Those are companies. Well, there's designers behind these products. Yep. And I know that. There's actual people designing these things. It's not like the company does it. It's not AI for the most part.
It doesn't come out of box.
Yeah, it's
nowhere. It's created.
There are real people that work for those companies that are creating those things. The dude who created Monster High, for example, Garrett Sander, I follow him on Instagram. I follow a lot of the designers that make the dolls. There's people making this art, even if at the end of the day it says Disney as the trademark.
There's different animators that work at Disney.
This is people's creative force. This is people's intellectual property. And if they happen to work for a certain company at that time, then that company will own that intellectual property. But it still was someone's idea. It's still like the Grinch is a story that was very close to, this is Dr. Seuss, right? Mm-hmm. Very close to his heart. Like, these are real people. So it's not really fair to draw a line and say, well, that's different because, one time this sculptor liked my post on Facebook. So now I know them. It's the same. It's theft or it's not. So drawing lines as to where you're going to fall, how far down the morality tree you're going to fall, and what constitutes a counterfeit, what constitutes ripping off someone else's idea, you know, it's something to think about. But the point is, this is a complicated issue, and just calling each other a piece of shit back and forth is really not going to solve a complicated issue. Nor do I want to see it. I don't want to see that. It's part of the reason I took a break from YouTube, because I'm tired of it. I don't want to see people fighting. I don't even care. I don't care if I don't like you. I don't want to see people fighting. I don't want to see people slagging someone off, even if I don't like them. I don't like the vibe of it. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it's directed at. It's gross. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. It's not a fun place to be.
You know what I've seen the last year? People just ignoring each other.
That too, because what else can you do?
Well, after you hear the same argument over and over and over again, you're just going to put your blinders on. You just stop listening.
Well,
that's human nature.
And especially if that argument is peppered with insults and talking about all the various ways this person is irrelevant. Well, if they're so irrelevant, why the fuck are you still talking about it?
Exactly.
Clearly they're not. I mean, I don't know. This is just logic, okay? This is just me talking. But I come back and I'm like, yay, dolls! I got a big new doll room. I'm excited as fuck.
It's so cool.
And then the first fucking video I see when I sit down tonight is some more of this bullshit. I'm just like, can you just stop? Just nobody cares.
I can't even go to the grocery store without y'all acting a fool.
You're that person that's at the party who's telling the story and telling the story and ain't no one want to hear the story no more. Everybody knows the story. Everybody has their opinions on the story. Opinions, like I said, hearts and minds are not changed by this. If anything, it's the opposite. It just shuts people's ears right off. Oh, here we go again. Why don't you surprise a motherfucker with some new shit? Let your heart grow 3 sizes, since we're talking about the Grinch. Maybe that might catch some attention. But the same shit for years and years and years and years and years, you can get the same reaction out of it. It's that whole definition of crazy. Keep doing the same thing and expecting some different shit. You're not going to get it.
I'm going to tell them the same thing. Maybe they'll get it this time.
No.
Oh, look. No, now they're buying the fakes.
Yeah. They're going to go buy another one.
Just the spite.
Every time, yeah.
This is a spite fake.
It's human nature. On all sides of this issue, it's human nature. And I think there's got to be a better way to deal with this, because all this fighting is not stopping any of it. It's not stopping people from buying them. It's not stopping people from making them. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I think they're always going to be there. Certainly we can encourage people not to buy them if we feel so inclined. Like I said, I don't want to be the police. I don't. It's not my vibe. But as far as eradicating them, I think at this point it's probably not going to happen. Because there's too many people that have no idea what's going on that are going to buy them. There's always going to be a market there because someone's kid's going to want them. They're going to see them on Amazon. Their friend's going to have one.
Grandma's not going to know the difference.
I think at this point it's reached a level where it's out of the realm of like squashing it.
Y'all wanted it mainstream, baby.
So
here it is.
If we can't stamp it out and eradicate it, then we need to figure out a way to live with it in a way that doesn't destroy our community further. I mean, this is sort of the equivalent of, well, Godzilla is stamping through the town and knocking out a building here, a building there. Well, let's just blow up the whole fucking city. That's not gonna work. I mean, Godzilla will definitely be dead, but so will everyone else. So, let's maybe try a different approach, because we're how many years in? I'm looking at my watch I don't have. I mean, it's not working. Let's find something that works.